Good evening, everyone. I'm just going to wait a couple of minutes to allow everyone to join. Please let me know if you can see and hear me clearly. Okay, I have got confirmation that all is good. Welcome to tonight's beginners class. Tonight is proudly sponsored by Logitech and Cricut South Africa. Please say hi in the comments. I feel like there is a little bit of a lag, so I do apologize if I don't get to your questions as quickly as I should. There is a lovely group of admin ladies that definitely will. Okay, let me introduce myself. My name is Caroline Tixera and I'm a proud Cricut ambassador. And tonight we are going to be creating together double-sided business cards. It is a beginner's class, so this is perfect for all of you who have already have an established business, or for those that are only starting off now and wanting just to create professional looking branding right from the comfort of your own home with your Cricut machine. This is a lovely way to start. So we are going to be creating some double-sided business cards together, which is going to be super fun. And I honestly don't know why it has taken me this long to actually create them, but finally I did, and I'm so happy. I'm just trying to catch you all in the comments, and I'm not succeeding. Just give me a moment. Okay, there we go. Hi to all those that are joining tonight. Hello, hello. Okay, wonderful. So without further ado, I'm going to show you what all we need. Remember that if you cannot stay for the entirety of tonight's live class, you are always able to rewatch, and that you can find on Cricut South Africa Facebook page as well as the YouTube page, and that will be found under the live tab. So let's get started. So here is our beautiful project. And what is wonderful about this is that we can create up to 8 of these cards on an A4, which is for me absolutely wonderful. It maximizes the space as well as I can possibly, and also cuts on cost, which is wonderful. So of course we are going to be needing a Cricut machine. I'm going to be using my Maker 4 tonight. And then we, of course, need a cutting mat. This is my StandardGrip mat. I don't recommend using a StandardGrip mat if you are going to be using the exact same cardstock that I'm going to be using tonight. And the reason for that is that this cardstock that we have on hand is a glossy paper, and it is glossy on both sides, which is wonderful. But if your mat is new or extremely sticky, it might cause damage if you are going to be using the glossy, and it might just rip when removing it from your mat. So I highly recommend using a light grip mat, and one that has been used and well loved, and not a brand new one. But now, as you can see, this has been well loved. It is hardly sticky anymore on this side. So this is the side I'm going to be placing my cardstock. So this is a wonderful beautiful cardstock that I found at Postnet, and they sell it per item, which is wonderful. So you can buy as many as you want to or need. And this is 300 GSM, which really gives it that premium quality for business cards, especially creating them from home. And then I don't think I'm going to be using my brayer tonight, but this is the remover set, and I'm going to be using this remover tweezers to just help me along with removing my business cards from my mat. And then I also have on hand my extra large scraper that I absolutely love, and is going to be so nice just to grip my cards off of my mat. And all of these Cricut consumables are or can be found on thesecretsale.co.za, and they usually have such wonderful deals, so I would definitely run to get me some of those. Please just confirm once again if you can see and hear me. From my side it looks like it has been frozen, or maybe I just can't see you guys in the comments. I might just have some PTSD from previously frozen screens. All right, wonderful. Okay, so let's head on over to Design Space and let's get designing. So we are going to be designing this from scratch, and the reason for that is I uploaded a QR code, and because of the uploaded images, it is only a project that I've shared, only able to be viewed and not edited. So let's create this all together from scratch. And I like to always work on a blank canvas, so I'm going to be choosing a blank canvas and we are going to start designing together. Now I'm going to quickly just run through uploading your own logo, and also maybe we can create one together using Cricut Design Space images. So the very first thing I'm going to need is going to be a shape for my business card. Now this is where you can have creative license, free creative license to do as you please. If you prefer having some rounded off corners, then you can go with this rectangle with the rounded corners. I prefer that crisp, sharp edge, so I'm going to go for a square, and I'm going to change the operation from a basic cut to a guide so that we can design it on the inside. Now if you Google standard business card size, it's going to give you approximately 9 by 5, but I wanted to maximize my area on my A4 as I've previously mentioned, so I'm going to make it slightly smaller so that we can fit in 8. So I'm going to go to size, I'm going to unlock it, and I'm going to change the width to 8.46, and my height I'm going to change to 4.7. And it is really so very little difference to a normal or standard size, but it's perfect and large enough to have all your details onto it, which is wonderful. Okay, so once we have that, that is good to go, and we can start designing. Now I'm going to upload my logo. So I already have it here, but what I can do is just show you from the beginning, seeing as it is a beginner's class. So I'm going to click on upload image, and on top here shows all the compatible files, which is wonderful. So you can always just double make sure that you have the correct compatible file there. And I'm going to click on browse, and I'm going to click on this. This is a logo that I've had for many years, and I am still quite happy with it. So I'm just going to upload it as is, and I am going to be clicking on flat graphic, which we are going to be doing a print then cut, so that is perfect for that. And I'm going to click on upload. Just going to allow a few moments for that. Okay, wonderful. Now at this stage you will notice Design Space being a little bit slow. It's only because of the complexity of these uploaded images. So it is not your, well, it can be, but it's usually not your internet connection. It's usually a lot of data that is on your canvas, and therefore it is slightly slower. So here is my logo, and I'm going to take another shape, in this case a circle, so that I can just remove this circle from my design. So I'm going to again click on guide so that I can see what I'm doing, and I'm going to place it over my logo, just ever so slightly going over, making sure my text is in there. And I'm going to select the two, and I'm going to align center. Now as you can see, it's going to align it center perfectly with this shape. Now it's obviously different sizes and widths and length, so I'm just going to eyeball it to see exactly more or less where I want it, so that this circle is a perfect circle, and once I align it to my perfectly sized business card, it's going to align it perfectly with that, so that I'm not left with one side being a little bit larger in white than the other. So it is a little bit difficult to see because my background is white. So what we can do, just to visualize it a little bit better, we can change our canvas background color to another color, just so that we can see and not having to strain our eyes too much. I'm going to change it to a gray so that we can see what's happening. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, if I do align these two, it's going to obviously align the circle shape to my rectangle, but I want to just align it to my logo perfectly, and I'm quite happy with that. So I'm going to slice this from each other. I'm going to select the two, and I'm going to slice that, remembering that you can only slice two elements at a given time. And there is my logo, and I'm going to delete that. Okay, now I can zoom in again a little bit, and I'm going to just resize my my logo to fit my business card, and there we have it. Now this one I can align center, and the circle is perfectly aligned to my rectangle. Oh, I really apologize. I have lost you all in the comments. But if you do have any questions, please do not hesitate to write them. There is a lovely group of admins that are ready to answer all your questions. Okay, I'm back on. Francis says she's watching me on TV. Total game changer. That is so cool. I'm definitely going to be watching my lives like that from now on. Better than movies, definitely. Okay, so now I can change my rectangle business card back from a guide to a basic cut. And then I'm going to change it to white. I really love the white. It just looks very crisp and clean, and I'm very happy with that. So I'm going to just make sure they are aligned once again, and they are, and I'm going to duplicate that. Okay, and now I'm happy with that, and I'm going to flatten my design, and now it is perfect and ready to be printed on. Now let's create one that we can use with our Design Space images. So I'm going to delete my logo, and let's see what we can find. So what's really, really cool, if you have something on your canvas, like I do here, my logo, it's going to curate for you some images that are similar or have similar writing to it, and therefore that is why there is all these creative images popping up here, which is super cool. And yeah, really, really awesome if you're wanting to just have some creative inspo, and it is there at your disposal. So I really love a circular design, or a wreath, if you will. So let's stick to that. Okay, so I hope my comments are working. So you guys can actually choose along with me. We can do this together. And yeah, I don't know what I'm listed for. I played around a little bit earlier as well. And I think every time coming on here without having an idea is kind of dangerous. Because this can take hours on end to choose something. There's such pretty images here. Maybe we should just go with something not too complicated. I quite like this one. I used this one a little bit earlier as well. I quite like this. So let's stick to this one. Okay, so now I'm going to just resize it so that it fits my business card. I like that. So a good rule of thumb to have is a imaginary border around your, like an imaginary offset, internal offset on your rectangle, so that is basically your safe zone, so that you don't have any text or any images in that area in case of misalignment and it being cut off, so that you can maybe still salvage it. So I'm just going to resize it a little bit smaller so that we have that area to work with. Okay, I'm happy with that. Going to align it center so that we can, well, I was really off there, so that we can add some more of our details. Okay, so let's add a text box, and I'm going to write my business name, Creative Cuts, and then resize it a little bit. Oh, even just the plain font looks really pretty. Oh, that actually looks so nice, as is. Very nice. Okay, let's play around with some fonts. Does anybody have favorite fonts that they like to use, or any suggestions? Let's see what they have. Oh, there's so many pretty fonts. I honestly love this Gelato Fresco. It is really one of my go-tos for absolutely everything. But let's see if we can create something different. This is also very pretty. Pen and ink. I think this is the one I was playing around with earlier. I quite like that. Okay, let's go with that. And it's still pretty legible, so I think we can get away with that. It looks very fancy. Okay, so let's go with that. And I'm going to just eyeball it and maybe make it a little bit bigger. Slightly. Okay. Good, I like that. And then we can add our slogan. So mine is devoted. And let's use a cool effect with this. So I'm going on over here to my effects panel and I'm going to warp my design, which is really, really cool. I wanted to just flow along my circular wreath just to give it a little bit of a wow factor. Let's go with this one. Let's rotate it a little bit, maybe make it a little bit bigger. I like that. I like that a lot. Oh, I like that it overlaps a little bit as well. It's almost like that little incision was there for me. I really like that. Okay, I'm happy with that. That is very pretty. And then I'm going to add my pretend cell phone number. My funny looking cell phone number to my business card as well. And once again resizing it a little bit smaller. And I'm going to warp it as well, but this time I want it on the inside. So let's see if that one will work, or maybe that one. And we'll play around with the colors in just a moment so that we can have some highlighted, some a little bit darker, some a little bit bolder. I'm actually quite happy with that as well. I think that looks pretty cool. All right, I'm happy with that. Let me know what you think. Okay, so let's play around with, okay, I've got you in the comments, guys. Judy says, I love cursive fonts. Mandy says, Alex Brush is my favorite. Sarah says, love gelato, love typing. Wedding always comes up with beautiful fonts. Oh, that's a wonderful suggestion. I love that. Thanks, guys. Okay, so let's change up some colors. I am quite happy with my colors that I have in my original logo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of my items, move it up to the right hand side, and I'm going to select what I want to change and have my little colors drop down over here just so I can compare the two a little bit. And let's see if we can get a close match. So let's see, this is quite close to my original, so let's go with that. I actually quite like that. And then maybe something a little bit lighter or even darker, also matching my original colors. Ooh, that is pretty. It matches the butterfly quite pretty. I like that. And what is wonderful is right at the bottom you have the code for that specific color, which is really quite cool. You can actually copy it, add it with a text box here to the side as a guide, and then you can have it as future reference if you are wanting to create some extra branding for your business. And it will be here saved for you. It also goes onto the top here where your material colors are. It's all the colors on your canvas at the moment, so you can always refer back to those as well, which is really, really cool. So I'm going to play around with these colors and see what that looks like. Let's go for that being light, and maybe even that one as well. Okay, so remember it is a basic cut at the moment, and therefore that you can see the cut lines, which is in black, but once we change this all to a flattened image, it will show you what it's going to look like when printing. So I'm happy with that. Just going to move up my sulfur number a little bit. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, so I'm going to select this entire business card, and I'm just going to duplicate it so that I can design my back of my business card using the exact same fonts that I can just push down. And then this one is ready to go. I'm going to select all of it and I'm going to flatten that. And that is what my image is going to look like. It is quite pretty. I'm very happy with that. Okay, so let's move on over to the back. Hi Alba, welcome. Okay, so now I'm just going to duplicate this once more just so that I can work from this one. Okay, so I'm going to delete all of this and I'm going to add my QR code, which is a lovely add-on where your clients can just scan over their camera and have it directly sent to your website or your Instagram or anything like that, which is wonderful and such a useful tool that you can have for your business. So I'm just going to provisionally paste it on over there and we can move it around at a later stage. Okay, so I'm going to bring down this Creative Cuts. Firstly, I'm going to right click. I'm going to click on Arrange and bring it to the front so that I can just directly bring it down. And like this, I don't have to go and find my text again. I'm just going to take it as this and change it to Contact Me Here! Exclamation. Just to emphasize. And I'm going to place that there. Remember our imaginary offset safe zone so that we can just make sure there is nothing being cut off over there. So Lolly says there will be detention after class. Bring the snackies. As long as there's crafts involved, I'm there. Evening everyone, a bit delayed tonight. We'll have to watch the recording later. Mum says you are more than welcome to do so. All right. Okay. Now, the next thing we are going to be doing is adding some logos for our phone number, for our Instagram handle, and also for our email. So I have the image codes with me on hand, so I'm just going to say them out loud, that if you are making notes, you can always just write them down for future reference. Okay, so for the phone logo, I'm going to click on, just type in the code, which is hashtag M5063B036 and click enter, and there is our little phone logo. Just going to resize it a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to find them all and then resize them all together. Okay, so for the Instagram logo, I have chosen hashtag M45398B96. Enter. Such a cutie little Instagram icon. I like to just more or less size them the same, and then do that all together at a later stage. And then for the mail logo, hashtag M4F1TE918. Enter. And there is our mail logo. Now that I'm looking at it, I wonder why I chose a circle if the other two were square. But I'm going to keep it as that. Okay, so they're more or less the same. I'm going to select all three of them on my layers panel, and I'm going to change the color to the dark color. Yes. Okay, and then I'm going to make them a lot smaller and move them over to my business card. Okay, I think that should be good. Maybe a little bit smaller, just so that there's enough space for the details. I think that's good. And I'm just going to carefully, more or less, place them distributed as well as I can. And then I'm going to once again select all three of these items, and I'm going to the align, and I'm going to distribute them vertically so that every single space in between them is perfectly the same. I'm going to move them a little bit to the right and a little bit up so that we have that safe zone around our card. Okay, perfect. And then I'm going to bring down my number. I'm going to unwarp it, bring it to the front, just going to rotate it back to 0 degrees and resize it. Okay, and then I'm going to duplicate that for my Instagram handle. Okay, and I'm going to change the font for this just so that it is easier to read. I quite like Cricut Sans, especially for a number, and because it is quite small and a lot of information to read, I think this is going to be the best option. So I'm just going to resize it a little bit. Okay, then I'm going to duplicate that and then add my email address. Okay, once again just resizing that, and then I'm going to select all three and I'm going to align it to the left. I like that it all starts the same, and then yeah, for me that looks good. I'm just going to center that to each of the logos, and I think I'm happy with that. Just want to select this and my square and align that horizontally. I'm actually going to change these three to black so that it is more easier to read. Okay, and then I'm just going to move around my QR code just so that I like the placing of it, and I think I'm happy with that. And yes, I'm happy with that. So I'm just going to delete that template over there, and I'm going to select my business card, the back side, and once again I'm going to flatten that. And there we have it, our front and our back all ready and designed and ready to align. Okay, so I'm going to be cutting the one we created together with our images from Design Space. So this one I'm going to delete for now. I'm going to push these to the top, and now this is where the magic happens. So I'm going to be showing you how to duplicate them all for us to have 8 on a page, and for it to be already aligned perfectly so that when we hit make, it's going to be already aligned perfectly, that we do not have to move a single thing on our virtual mat before cutting. So the very first thing we're going to do, I might just change this color, sorry, it's a little bit light for me. Sorry. Okay, now I'm happy. Okay, now we're going to take our front and our back, and we are going to put them one in front of the other, and we are going to align center. I like to have the front in the front. There we go. Okay, so here is our front and our back perfectly aligned, and I'm going to group them together. Okay, now I'm going to duplicate and just place them next to each other. Take the two, duplicate that. Hi Tandy, yes, this can definitely be done on a Cricut Joy Extra. It does have the sensor that will pick up the registration marks when it is printed from your printer, and then you can have it cut and it will cut perfectly. Okay, so now I'm going to duplicate all 4 of these and then just more or less distribute them as evenly as possible, but we are going to use our tools for that as well. So that is essentially what it's going to look like. So now I'm going to select the left hand side column. I'm going to click align, and I'm going to align it left and distribute it vertically. Okay, I'm going to do the same with the right hand side. I'm going to align it left and distribute it vertically. And there is my business cards, all perfectly aligned, and I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to ungroup all of them individually. And I'm going to change, or rename rather, the front and the back so that I can distinguish between them easily. Okay, the front, and I'm going to hide it. I'm going to rename the back and leave it as that. Now the next one, ungroup, rename it to front and hide it, and rename the back and leave it there. Next one, ungroup, rename it to front and hide it without moving anything on your canvas. So as you can see, I am working only on my layers panel, ensuring that I'm not touching my business cards on my canvas. Okay, back. Next one, I'm going to ungroup it again, rename the front to front, and then hiding that. Ungrouping the next one, renaming front and hiding that. Next one, ungroup, front, hide. And I do find saying all of this out loud really does help with almost like your muscle memory, that your hands are just going with the flow and it's just doing what it needs to do. And it's very, very helpful. And then back. Oh, sorry, I missed a couple of my backs. Let's just rename all of these. Right, and our last one. Okay, where can we find the code list? So I went onto my Instagram, and where my profile is, I clicked on share profile, and once that opened up a little window where I can either share a link or it generates a QR code for me for my Instagram account. So then that is what I shared to myself. I saved it and then uploaded it onto Design Space. Okay, that is front. I'm going to hide it and then rename back and back. Okay, wonderful. So there is all of our backs, and they are perfectly aligned. Each of them are flattened, ready for print and cut. Now I'm going to select all of them, and I'm going to click on attach so that they do not move one from another, and just going to push that all to the top, and I'm going to rename this to back. Okay, and there you have it. There is our back, all perfectly aligned, ready to cut, and I'm going to hide that. Now I'm going to unhide all of my front pieces. There's all 8 of them, and then once again from my layers panel, select all 8 of them and click attach. Renaming that to front. And there is our back, and there is our front. Okay, so this ensures that it is perfectly aligned and perfect for when cutting. No, the code she used to find the phone and Instagram icons. Oh, Mandy, sorry. So these images, once you click on an image, let me show you. So for example, here is the male image. There, if you go to your home page and you go back to any project, essentially, I'm going to my stuff and I'm going to open up any project that I have. Just going to allow. Okay, so now this project will show all the images that I've used on this project, and if you click on whatever image it is, you can have a look here. This is rainbow, and here on top is the code for this specific image. So then you can just click on it and copy, and it will be copied onto your clipboard that you can copy onto your canvas. So if I paste it over here, I pasted it into my images, it's going to find the exact same rainbow, if that makes sense. Good evening, Kamal. Welcome. And thank you, Karen. I'm excited and yeah, very, very pleased to be able to show you guys this. Okay, wonderful. So we can go ahead and we can print our business cards. Okay, so I do highly suggest always doing a test cut on a copy paper, just so that you do not waste your good products. So I'm going to click on Make It, and we can click on Save, and I'm going to say double-sided business cards live class. Now remember, if I do save and share this, it won't be a project that you will be able to edit from. What I can do is just edit one briefly without any uploaded images. Because there is an upload image, it is only going to be a view project. But what I'll do is I'll quickly curate something for you guys, and then I can share the link once I share the project on the Cricut Family South Africa group. Then you guys can just click on it and customize it as you wish. Okay, So as I mentioned earlier, it is perfectly aligned. I do not have to move anything on these virtual mats, which is wonderful. I have previously created double-sided cards, and it was a little bit difficult. I had to mirror it onto this side or move it onto that side, and this is perfectly aligned. The real tip I can give you is to make sure when you feed your paper into your printer, there is these little tabs or hooks, if you will, when you feed your printer, that is perfectly inserted and snug there perfectly when you feed in your next side of the paper. Okay, so I have to unplug my camera so that I can plug my printer in, but I just want to show you over here. I was playing around a little bit earlier and I printed out on a copy paper just so that we could do a little test cut. And as you can see, I hope you can see, it is perfectly aligned. I don't want to shine this in your eyes, but when you click on Make It, the software automatically prints out these registration marks on the corners of your paper, and then it will do the same for every side. Now, you cannot see almost a millimeter out. It is absolutely wonderful to see how aligned and perfect and effortless actually it is to have a double-sided printed this way. So I just thought I'd show you that. And I'm going to go back to Design Space and I'm going to unplug my camera so that I can plug in my printer. For some reason my adapter does not want to work with my camera, so let's just go with the flow. Okay, so my printer is ready, it is on, it is loaded with paper, and I'm going to go with my first one and I'm going to click on continue. Whoopsie, I don't want to cancel. Okay, and I'm going to send it to printer. So it shows here that it's going to print out the sensor marks and it is going to toggle on add bleed. In this case, we don't need to have a bleed. This essentially gives a border of the same ink color around your image so that it just removes or essentially helps to have that extra ink so that you don't have those white edges. But in this case, my business cards are white, so you can have it toggled on or off. And I'm going to be using my system dialog just so that I can change my printer settings for my paper. So I'm going to change my media type from plain paper to photo paper glossy and then choose best quality. This is going to take a little bit long, but it is so worth it. Okay, and I'm going to click on done and switch on my printer. Okay, there it goes. Francis says, oh wow, seeing those line up is so good for my OCD. It really is. I think that's why I was so excited to show it to you guys, because I looked at that and I was like, this is amazing. And certainly was not always the case. I didn't have my papers feed it in properly, and then I have had it printed where it's not aligned, and that is not pretty. Thank you so much. I'm struggling with streaks when printing stickers with my printer. So what I've seen is that I've got an Epson Eco Tank, and my printer heads need to be cleaned every once in a while. So you can maybe just Google what settings or what printer you have and how to prevent that. And I just follow the YouTube video that pops up, and that helps me clean my printer heads so that I can go ahead and continue on with my printing. Now I have got, like I mentioned, an Epson printer, and I am a homeschool mom, so I usually print out all our school books. So I basically know my printer in and out by now and how it prints. So it basically prints my page upside down. But a good tip would be, if you are unsure how your printer prints and how you would need to flip over your page in order to feed it in for the second side to be printed, I would suggest making a little mark on the side or any corner that you wish to check it out, and then make sure that you are going to be printing it on the flip side on the same side. So I can't show you now because my camera is now turned off, but if I have my paper printed out, I remove it from my printer as is, I flip it over to my left hand side and then feed it into my printer again. Well, in that case, some cases your printers might be different, so I really highly recommend in doing a test cut with your copy paper. I see some challenges are being challenged or accepted rather on the comments, which seems fun. While that is being printed, let me know if you guys are busy creating your very own, or are you going to do this in future? I'd love to know. Another tip would be to just allow a few seconds before feeding your page back into your printer, just so that the ink can just settle and dry. I haven't had an issue before, but depending on some glossy papers, it takes a little bit longer just to absorb that ink. So just please be careful with that. And just be patient. It is very, very worth it having your very own business cards. Like, I can't stress it enough. It's so, so cool. Okay, it's about halfway now. Kim says, I would like to see some pizza-themed business cards for this week's challenge, please. Oh, that would have been actually such a fun class. I should have done that. Is it too late? Shame. Alva has detention and homework, so she's going to be creating some double-sided business cards the weekend. I cannot wait to see what it looks like. Awesome. Karen, she says she's going to tweak some of her business cards with some tips and tricks that she learned tonight. So that is wonderful. Mandy says she's also going to go and create some. Love it. I cannot wait to see all your guys' designs. Rulani has accepted Kim's challenge with some pizza themed business cards. If you have a friend in the pizza business, do them a favor and create them some business cards. There we go. Okay, so now I know how to feed my printer, so I'm going to just blow on my design just real quick and load it, making sure it is perfectly aligned in my printer with those little tabs on the sides, just to make sure it's fitting nice and snug in there. It is a thicker cardstock than my copy paper, so I need to just be extra careful, extra mindful with that. And we are going to send to printer again. Oh, I can toggle on and off my bleed. I don't mind. And then change my paper media type, and I'm going to choose best quality again. Okay, there we go. Sure, it sounds terrible. Maybe it's cold. I'm getting very cold. I'm going to get my mat ready so long. I'm enjoying you guys in the comments, and I'm getting very hungry actually. So that's not good. Okay, it's pretty much halfway at this point. Sorry, it's taking long. Mamta says, someone bring Caroline some food already. Yes, I am waiting. I am waiting for some food. Patiently waiting for my printer to finish. And then we can cut and we can all go our separate ways and eat all the good things. Thank you guys for making me hungry. We are actually having pizza tonight. Yeah, just a little disclaimer, I did not cook supper. So just before coming into the live, I ordered some frozen pizza from Checker 60 and they are delivering it now, which is wonderful. Okay, a couple more seconds to go. I'm sorry it went a little bit over, but now we just have to cut one side and then we have our double-sided business cards, which is awesome. I hope I used the correct printer settings for my cardstock. Let's see. Kim says, I hope you made table decor for your pizza party for the challenge. I didn't even get time to make supper, let alone table decor. Alrighty, it is done. So I'm just gonna place that to the side and plug in my camera. Okay, let's see, there we go. Alrighty, so this is what it looks like. That is the front. It actually looks so pretty. And there is the back. Okay, so you can choose whichever way you want. And I'm just carefully going to place it, align it left and top. I'm not going to press down too much because it's quite sticky and it's going to adhere well. And let's go and choose. I'm going to choose heavy cardstock. And there we go. The heavy cardstock is 270 GSM and my cardstock is 300 GSM, but I have used this setting previously and it works perfectly. So now I'm just going to click on go and it's going to find my sensors, my registration marks, and then cut. So I've seen that a lot of people struggle or have struggled in the past with their printing cuts. So sometimes if there is a glare, it does make it a little bit harder for the registration marks to be picked up. So I have seen that what works is applying a matte clear tape onto the registration marks, and then that prevents the glare and it allows it to read it quite well. And also it just needs to have enough lighting, and yeah, and if you are still struggling, I would recommend also calibrating the machine with your printer, and then that allows for smoother and effortless cuts. So there you have it. so you can just make sure it is cut, and it is. There it is. I'm going to flip it over and pop them out. I'm going to get my remover tweezer just so that I can there we go. Okay. Remember to cover your mat so that it can stay free from debris, and that we can throw away. And there is our beautiful double-sided, beautifully aligned business cards. Just